game plan to perfect him with it?
Yep, that's the game plan we had, was to throw Dereck off. Come out orthodox first round, show him something there, switch up in the southpaw the next round, just see how it goes really. And if Dereck mastered the southpaw, just switch and rotate backwards and forwards, but didn't come to that. So, fortunately Tyson, he never really got a second to third gear. Just held that position and just let Dereck come in and just eat the shots, and that's what happened.
Was it easier than you expected?
No, well, we train knowing that Dereck's a good fighter. He comes in, you stand and hold your feet with Dereck to your peril. He's, to be honest, Vitaly Klitschko showed the beating of Dereck. When you're a big fighter, just walk into barrages of shots, stepping back, giving ground, no rush. He's got the size, he's got everything. So we had this game plan for Dereck, and it worked a treat. So that's what happened.
He looked almost bored, Peter, at some point.
Well, no, listen, Dereck was always dangerous. You hold your feet too long, throw too many shots, big right hand comes over. As we've seen, Dereck kept trying it. But, it's for Tyson to be patient. This is another side you're seeing of the Tyson Fury now, to be patient. It's like a horse holding its reins. Patience. He can go out all too quick. He's powerful. He's got a lot more power than people think. He can punch. So basically, it's just holding them reins back. But like I said, Tyson hasn't got out of third gear. There's a hell of a lot more to see with Tyson Fury.
It was the Rogan fight, wasn't it? He first had him box southpaw. Was it? I mean, then it didn't seem it was something you'd try in a big fight like this. He's obviously come on a lot doing it.
Well, like I said, there's many things that I see in the gym, what the public hasn't seen. So, we've had this discussion. Me and Frank were speaking. Frank knows Tyson's potential. That's why we're here. Let's face it, on Box Nation. So basically, we've got a good partnership. We're going to go all the way, and Tyson will bring back a world title for Britain. There's no doubt.
As a southpaw, or is it just one thing that's
whatever suits? Listen, game plans. This is the thing with Tyson Fury. You don't know who's turning up, and this is why he's got a big advantage, Tyson, because how can you prepare for somebody like him? He can prepare for the opposition, but they can't prepare for Tyson Fury, because when I send him out to game plans, as you can see, it's different every time, because he's able to switch his tactics up. He's got that much potential with him.
Were you disappointed with the boos? Because he was winning so easily, it felt almost like the crowd it seemed unfair on him, the crowd were booing so much.
Well, look, this is world-class professional boxing. I'm not interested in some people drinking some beer that wants a slugfest. There's a lot at stake here. It's a gateway to big things. Tyson's not going to take chances and have a trading war. Does Vladimir Klitschko? What does he do? That's why he's at the top for so long.
Mick, what's the plan now?
Well, that was for the mandatory position for Vladimir Klitschko. That's who Tyson's always wanted him for a long time, but there's been no chance of getting a voluntary with him because they've never entertained these discussions. So now he's mandatory. So we just got to let time run its course over the next 6 months, let Vladimir get the next fight out of his system, and then there's a huge fight that we're all going to be negotiating together.
Are you as pessimistic as Tyson is about that actually happening?
Well, it will happen. The WBO have mandated it will happen. Klitschko, his next fight is in March, and after that fight there's 30 days for us to negotiate with him. If we can't reach an agreement, then we go to purse bids. So the fight will be against Tyson Fury. That's what it's all about. Tyson will go in as the number one mandatory challenger for the WBO.
So basically that within 4 months of March.
Could that happen over here?
Well, look, if we can get it over here, I mean, obviously we're going to move heaven and earth to get it here. It would be a huge fight. It'd be a stadium fight if we did it here, so we could compete with them as regarding the purse bid. However, they've got 80. Let's get it right. They've got 80% of the purse to play with in the purse bid. But we would do our best. I mean, we normally manage to get it done. So we will. The main thing is to is to get the fight on. That's what it's all about. You know, Dereck tonight just, you know, it's quite for me. You know, he's manager, and I've promoted him all the way through. He just couldn't get off tonight. He just couldn't get. He wasn't. His jab was non-existent. He was just non-existent. He was just rolling in, and he couldn't cope with the height and the size of Tyson. You know, without the shots he was throwing, he just couldn't cope with that. And I think that, you know, time he got to Tyson, he was like more or less on top of him. There was no distance to let his shots go, and that was the pattern of the fight. It went from round 1 till I pulled him out in round 10.
Are you worried about the long-term effects of that fight?
Sorry.
You worried about the long-term effects of that?
No, I mean, you know, Dereck's a warrior. You know, he's a tough guy. He's I think he's had 3 stitches under his eye. He told me maybe his nose may be broken. We'll see what happens. We'll regroup and see what happens with him. But you know, this is, you know, at this level, it's the winner's business, and Tyson's the winner, and he's the guy that's sitting there with his 3 belts in the number 1 mandatory position, and that was what this fight was all. That's what this night was all about.
Right, just going back a little bit. Did I mishear you, or did you say that you stopped the fight? You told him to stop it.
I stopped the fight. I told the corner to stop the fight. Yeah.
But you told the corner that Don to stop it, yeah?
Do you think it should have been stopped sooner?
It could have been stopped sooner. You know, maybe a round earlier. It was just becoming repetitive, wasn't it? You know, and he just was, as I say, wasn't. He was getting caught more and more. You know, when somebody's fighting for at this level and you're fighting for a shot at the world heavyweight title, you want to give your man as much opportunity as you can. Things happen in boxing. One punch can change a fight, but you know, it's quite apparent by then that was not going to happen. So it was. So I told him to pull him out.
Peter, Tyson's not had a lot of activity in the last 18 months. You want him to fight again in February, March, if you can?
Yeah, you know, we've got a fight on Box Nation again in February, and he'll be out again, Tyson, with a top 10 or top 15 in the world opponent.
You can either.
That'll be at the O2.
Frank, obviously you stopped the fight because you feared you didn't want him taking any more.
No, he was 9 rounds behind at that stage. You know, and it didn't look like he was going to knock him out. You know, what's the point? You know, even if he kept throwing, and he may have got lucky, what he was taking, the punishment he was, you know, taking to try and get his shots off, you know, it was not somewhere where I wanted him to be.
Did he take it well, Frank? Or was he
pissed off? You know, Dereck's a warrior.
Yeah.
He's
Did
a
he want
fighting
to
guy.
carry on though?
Of course he did. He was
Yeah.
a warrior. And you know, he was a bit pissed off, but you know, that's what we're there for. We're there to make sure that you know, as best you can look after him. You know, Dereck's done well over the last couple of years. He's totally rehabilitated himself, and he's turned himself into a decent guy, and he's worked hard. And you know, it's sad what's happened tonight, but you know, I think he should get some credit for that.
Do you think there's more for Dereck to go on to, or maybe should?
Sorry?
Do you think there's more for Dereck to go on to, or should he consider?
Oh no, we'll sit down and talk. Look, there's no way I'm going to be making any decisions about that tonight, and that's a conversation we'll have, you know, maybe in a week's time or something.
Have you stopped fights before?
Have I stopped fights? Yeah.
Yeah,
Quite a few
give us a couple
times.
of examples.
Sorry?
Give us a couple of examples. Put you on the spot.
On the spot? God, I stopped. Where I stopped? I'm trying to think now. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head, but I've stopped quite a few.
We'll call you off the man in a minute.
Okay, you give him a call. I know one I tried to stop and the fight wouldn't let me stop it, and that was Danny Williams when his arm come out his socket. And he moved in and I tried to stop it and he wouldn't have it, and then he knocked the fella out, so what do I know?
What about Danny and Klitschko? Did you?
What, a click? Oh, Danny Williams, yeah, I pulled him out. That's true, yeah. I pulled him out that fight, yeah.
Which one?
Danny
Klitschko,
Williams. Did I? I can't remember, yeah, I did, yeah.
Peter, how confident are you that Tyson can win a world title next year?
I'm very confident. He's, you know, what you've seen here tonight is, you know, he's scratching the surface. He can up his gears. you know, and I'm very confident he can win a world title. He's a super athlete, you know. So and look at all the difficulties we've had. You know, nobody knows as well. You know, I can to say it now. Tyson hadn't trained for the past 3.5 weeks coming into this fight. Tyson had a virus what put him bedridden. So he's had flu injections, up and down to the doctors, rested. I even took him home to my place, put him in bed. He was in bed for 3 or 4 days. Last week he started to feel better in himself, and 2 days before this fight he said, listen, I feel absolutely okay. We was even talking at one time of pulling this fight. Only the thing is, we've got to be on death's door for us to pull a fight. You know, the only time Tyson's ever pulled a fight is when my brother was seriously ill and we've lost him. So we don't pull fights. So Tyson, there's a lot more to come from Tyson, a hell of a lot.
If he hadn't recovered from that, because I came to see him and he had a chest infection, was it?
That's the very one, yeah.
If he hadn't recovered from that, you would have pulled him out, Peter.
Well, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, when you're sweating in the middle of the night and you wake up and all the sheets are wet through, what can we do? But, you know, we rested him up, you know, took him for a few walks, give him plenty of saunas, and he come out of it. So that's the level of fitness he's at. You know, and, you know, even the sparring, we had sparring over, we had it for a week, sent him home. Because he couldn't spar 4 rounds, he was weak.
I'll tell you what, you look at Dereck Chisora, you look at the fight he had against Klitschko. When he gave Klitschko the toughest fight Klitschko had since he fought Lennox Lewis, and you look at Dereck against Malik Scott, you know, undefeated world-ranked fighter, and you look how he fought them, and then you look at this fight tonight. You know, it makes me look at Tyson Fury in a different light, to be quite honest.
I don't think anybody thought Tyson Fury could do what he's done to a level of fighter like Chisora. Tyson's majorly talented. People need to wake up. Because he's 6'9", looks a little bit clumsy now and again, goes running and swinging when he hasn't got his trainer in the corner. You know, all these things happen. Oh yes, this and that. But look, we've seen Klitschko get rocked with a jab in the first round. Legs stiffen up and everything else. You know, look, Tyson's a serious threat on a world level. Mick knows it, Frank knows it, you know, we all realise it, especially after the way he took care of Chisora today.
Klitschko's a step up again now. You think he could do something like that to Klitschko?
I think Klitschko, look, we got a Klitschko now, he's had loads of defences, he's coming to the end of his tether. You got Tyson Fury 26, who at the peak of health is a very, very big threat to Klitschko.
And I think the difference is that you actually got somebody who can, you know, when he puts his mind to it, he's got a great jab, and he's not going to be out of reach by Klitschko. Similar side of stamp, so it'd be quite interesting.
Did you need to be convinced about Tyson, Frank?
No, I mean, I've seen him. The one thing I like about him is I've seen him on the floor and I've seen him get off the floor, and that tells you a lot about any fighter. You know, he's gone down, been caught with good shots, got up and won fights. I think looking at him, I think he's one of those guys that rise to the occasion. Sometimes when fighters are in tick-over fights and they go through the motions, and then when you get the big one, they have to up their game, and it gets them going. And I mean, he just doesn't seem flustered. I mean, walking into the ring, he seemed very relaxed. I think he was singing, wasn't he, on his way? I've been watching him on the way in the ring, and he's a very relaxed guy. You know, and Dereck, you know, Dereck fancied this job. I mean, he really fancied that he'd have the way to beat him, which obviously didn't turn out to be the case. But no, I think he's, you forget that he's 26. I mean, as a heavyweight, that's a baby.
Well, they keep going on about Joshua. Joshua's 25.
He's a year old.
He's a year enough.
Yeah.
Look where Tyson's at.
And there down the road would be a big fight.